choice. Giving Chattanooga a voice. It's Cindy's choice.
Yes, it's Cindy's choice to celebrate and collaborate our community. Cindy here on WGOW 102.3 FM, the Talk Monster. Thanks for joining us this evening. You may have tuned in at WGOW.com. Maybe you're listening on TuneIn Radio. Maybe you've tuned into Facebook because we are here via Zoom, live via Zoom, but I'm recording the Zoom so I can share that on social media. So thank you for joining us wherever you've joined us at. And I talk about Cindy's choice is to celebrate and collaborate our community. And that's what Cindy's choice is about. But you also hear me say a lot that Cindy's choice is to be brave and to make a difference. And let me tell you why that is. And that's as much to keep reminding me of what it takes, because I sincerely am out to make a difference. That is my passion. That is my desire. That is my mission. And you better be brave. I often talk about how, Cindy's Choice is an integrity-centric businesses that care about the community. Well, if you have integrity and you care, you better have courage, because all of those things are constantly tested. Your integrity is constantly tested. If you say you care and you take action, that's going to be tested. You will receive opposition. It's just the way things work. It's not everyone's going to agree with you. There are other people on the opposite end of you that are very passionate about what they believe in. And that is why I put the be brave part in there. If you really want to make a difference, build your courage first. Make sure you build your integrity, build your courage, and then step out there in faith and do that brave thing that you are led to do to make a difference. Now, why do I bring this up? I bring this up because I had a topic for this evening, and that's why, with live radio, it's so off the cuff for me, because I try to plan ahead and make topics or have guests too far out, and everything changes so quickly. That's what I love about live radio. It's current, it's live, it's right now, it's real-time engagement with the community, so we can talk about what's going on right now. And I stepped in it a little unintentionally here recently. If any of you, those that follow me, I am a major Pollyanna. Go scroll. My personal Facebook page is public. You can go scroll and see all my fluff. It's total fluff. It's all positive. I mean, it's deep, it's sincere. I get a teeny bit personal sometimes because I'm sincerely out to help, and I've been talking about that. The bravest thing we ever do is get vulnerable. And if you've gone through a lot, if you've overcome a lot, and you've overcome a lot of pain, then you want that pain to gain for others. And I'm not going to waste anything I've been through. So you can scroll through my personal Facebook page and you'll see lots of Pollyanna positive stuff. And I love encouraging, and I love being encouraged. It's incredible. We need that. We need that more than ever. And so I posted something yesterday that I really thought was positive and encouraging. And what I posted, and it has to do with the George Floyd issue, which is a very sensitive issue. Now, I want to remind you, I avoid controversy. I'm not political. I don't play that game. People are confused about me. They can't put me in a box. I don't go there. That's not what I'm about. But I've watched that video. I've watched that almost 10-minute video, and I made myself watch it. I don't look away because we need to see that. And I'm getting emotional right now because it's just horrendous. It is just horrible what happened to that poor man. And, I wasn't going to touch that issue because it's just too sensitive. I understand to some degree the sensitivities on both ends, but this is really stirring something up in me. This is big, and I care. I really care. So last night, this is the post that I made on my personal Facebook page, but I did tag it. I hashtagged it Cindy's Choice because it's a Cindy's Choice. It's my opinion, my word, my encouragement is how I intended. And my post was, let's not make it about black and white. Let's make it about wrong and right. And that ain't right. That was my quote. And from my perspective, where I was coming from on that was what happened to George Floyd wasn't right. And I had emotion building up into me that I wanted to let out. I want to support those that are suffering. I feel that. I'm a very, very sensitive, I'm an empowered empath, I like to say, because I felt it, and I'm as enraged as everyone else is. And I hesitated a little bit because, again, I'm not controversial. I'm not political. I'm not. I'm sensitive to things, and I don't want to, hurt people's feelings or say the wrong thing, because I'm not a super studied person. I don't watch the news. I don't watch the news. I know how toxic it is. I know how that if I've tried to watch like a balance, and no. It's like when things come up on social media and it looks important, then I might do the research and I'll go on and look deeper. So I am an adult. I need to know what's going on. But I know better than to being consumed by the news. And I discovered the George Floyd on social media and watched the video the first time on social media. And I just was, again, just stunned. And it did compel me to speak out in a positive, encouraging kind of way. Again, it was let us not make it about black and white. Let's make it about wrong and right. And that ain't right. It's just not right. Well, my post was misinterpreted by some, and that's okay. I get it. I didn't expect it, because I'm not one to stir up controversy. I don't like to, create these threads, and I don't have the time. I don't have the patience. I don't have the skills for getting involved in all that. I'm not that articulate. If you listen to me, I'm very off the cuff. I stumble all the time, and I just don't, and I just know how easy it is to get misinterpreted. And I also know how emotional so many people are when they respond to such things. So I really meant it as a positive call to unity is how I intended it. I definitely wasn't looking for an argument. It just, again, I just don't have the patience for that. But before we go too much further, I just want to take a minute and thank those that get me. Thank you for getting me. But also, in referencing the post, I want to thank the folks that hung in there in those conversations. I was attacked a bit for not responding enough against some of the negativity. And I want to speak more about that, but you're going to have to stay with me here. Stay with me here on Cindy's Choice.
We're all pumped about the start of summer and the rush to have fun. Remember to give some space. For the latest guidelines and changes, lock in on the Talk Monster.
Time passes quickly. Before you know it, children are grown, parents or grandparents are gone, and your family has changed forever. A cancer family portrait can capture those family connections for many a lifetime to come. I am Cindy of Cindy's Choice, and cancer photography is Cindy's choice because Brad Kanzler is highly revered as a storyteller who uses photography to create distinctive portrait art. Find out more about owning a Kanzler at kanzlerphotography.com. That's kanzlerphotography.com.
All right, kids, it's trash day. Who's helping me take the cans out to the curb?
Okay, nobody's ever going to get that excited about trash, but there is someone who takes pride in hauling it away. Locally owned and operated C&M Disposal. That big yellow truck has served your community for 5 years, which is why they're trusted more than other disposal companies. They even have 95-gallon recycling bins available. Want to get excited about trash day? Call 42894-6964 to learn more about C&M Disposal.
And sponsored by Open Jar Concepts. Consult your physician prior to discontinuing use of any medication. Attention. This is an important message to anyone who has been diagnosed with cancer after prolonged use of Zantac or other heartburn medication. Recently, the FDA has warned that Zantac and other medications containing the heartburn drug ranitidine may be contaminated with cancer agents. This announcement has been followed by drug companies recalling their generic ranitidine and Zantac products, while drugstores are pulling these products from their shelves. If you or a loved one has been diagnosed with cancer after using Zantac or other heartburn medications regularly, you'd be entitled to significant compensation. Call 800-620-5850 now for a free legal consultation and to see if you're eligible to file a claim. Time restrictions may apply, and you pay nothing unless there's a recovery in your favor. So call 800-620-5850 now. Again, 800-620-5850. That's 800-620-5850.
Have you ever wanted to learn a new language like French, Spanish, or Russian, but thought too difficult and time-consuming? Then go to Babbel.com for free. Babbel works because it's built around real life. It teaches practical conversations that you will actually use. In 15 minutes a day, you'll be on your way to speaking a new language in just a few weeks. Babbel uses a modern conversation-based technique that's language engaging, fun, and memorable. It starts by teaching you words and phrases. Then, sentences gradually get more complex. Soon, you're practicing short conversations about real-life topics. Babbel is created by language experts who use the spaced repetition method to help you learn quickly and remember what you learned. With Babbel, you can speak a new language. Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel free. Just go to Babbel.com or download the Babbel app and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Talk Radio 102.3.
Thank you. Thank you for staying with me here on Cindy's Choice. I will jump right back in. I was taking a minute before I kind of jump in here some more on the controversial post that I posted. That sounds funny coming from me. Like, controversial, Cindy? What? No, I have a total reputation of being this Pollyanna positive, and I am. But I'm also an adult, and that doesn't mean that I'm not strategic and that I'm not brave and that I'm not smart and that I won't stand up for myself if I need to. And I'm thanking people. A lot of people reached out to me, are you okay? And I'm like, no, hey, don't worry about me. I'm a big girl. And I understand. I don't take it personal. I understand this is so sensitive. This is hurting people. This is painful. And I understand that. And I want you to know I really do care. So thank you to those who get me. Thank you to those that stayed with the conversations and responded to some very negative, ugly, and bad information way better than I could. No, that I talk. I don't type. I'm not very, no, I just don't do good that way. That's why I stay away from that. I just use social media for sharing positive things and sharing about, like what I like, not what I don't like. I talked about that on last week's show. I'll be loading that on my website. I'm not about propaganda. It's real easy to get followers if you talk about what you hate. It's an easy tactic that a lot of people fall for. I don't do that. I'm not out to be popular. I'm out to be purposeful. You don't build a crowd as quickly that way, but that's not my goal. It's not my goal. I am out to make a difference. So again, thank you to those. And listen to me. I sincerely apologize to those of you that were offended. And I know that you didn't understand why I wouldn't take down some of those posts, but it felt like censorship to me. How are we going to make any change for anyone if we don't know what's really going on? I mean, it was a great dose of reality for me, even though I've seen the ugliness throughout my lifetime. I've seen some horrible injustices, but that was, we don't get anywhere. We don't make change by hiding truth. I think I posted in reference a couple times about one of my posts is the truth can be painful and ugly, but if I never accomplished any progress by hiding it, and that's my story, and some of you have heard me share that, I had to dig into some major truths to accomplish transformation and healing in my life, to accomplish change in my life. And I don't feel right about hiding the ugliness. That needs to be exposed, and we need to know it's there, and we need to know how to deal with it. And the post ended up going in a very positive direction. And I want to thank those people again that stuck with it. I lost track of the conversation. Again, it was late last night when all this started. I'm sitting there scrolling on my phone with my big fingers and like hitting reply and accidentally hitting like, then unliking this, and then thinking, what have I done? But I wasn't going to delete it. There's just no way, because it came from a sincere place. And I'm not going to let people who misinterpret me put me in a place where I'm not sharing encouragement and positivity, because I intended it to encourage unity. And I know racism is real. I know firsthand that racism is real. I've seen the ugliness. I was brought up in the South cringing as a child, recognizing how horrible some people were treated. And I made my decision early in life that I didn't want to be that way. I wanted to keep, looking at people as people, looking at human beings as human beings. And so I do, and I'm not going to, I am not going to dare say that I identify or I understand what a person of color deals with in this country or nationally. There's racism all over the world. And I'm not going to begin to think that I understand it. Nobody understands anybody else's journey. We are all walking our own path, dealing with our own issues. But what I would like to share is that I can relate in some degree to having people have authority over you that you cannot trust. Actually having people have authority over you that are out to get you, that are out to corrupt you and destroy you. And that started for me as a child with my own mother. I've talked about this recently. I had another platform for a while. I actually got a live revelation on that platform of just really getting the reality of how much my mother hated me. I can't go into the whole story about my mother. That's love my mom. My mom has her issues. She made her choices that took her down a bitter road instead of a better road. And that's here nor there right now. That doesn't pertain. There's no hate there. I love my mom. I got it. Even as a child, I understood she had some major issues, but that doesn't mean it didn't affect me, and I didn't exist in perpetual danger. And that went on for most of my life till very recently. When you're raised in an environment like that, where the people that are supposed to look out for you, the people that are supposed to protect you are they're the ones victimizing you. And, it's hard to talk about because my own mother exploited me. She tried to corrupt me. She was taking me into nightclubs at a very young age. I was wearing heavy makeup and she was taking me into nightclubs, and she literally handed me over to pedophiles. And my point with all this, the reason I'm sharing this is I'm kind of relating this to some degree. Again, it's not the same, but I'm relating it in some degree to that terror I was constantly in, that constant fear that I was always in, not having anybody in this world that I could trust, because it wasn't just her exploiting me. She attracted more like her, and I was constantly victimized. To me, I identify that with, okay, so a police officer is a person of power. They're someone we're supposed to be able to trust. And if you're in a position where that, you can't trust that person, when that's not a good police officer, then I can identify with that to a degree. And again, I want to be super sensitive here. I don't, I can't identify with anybody else's story exactly, but I know the terror. I know the heartache. I know the desperation of a situation like that. I know how incredibly powerless you feel. And I know how a situation like that, constant circumstances like that, can allow you to make justifications that seem right to you that aren't right, or that you just get to the point you don't care, because heck, nobody else cares. Why should you care? Hey, I get that, because being groomed by that sociopath, narcissist type of personality from a child, that I grew up just attracting and even attracted to that type of personality, because that's all I knew. That is all I knew. And that sounds crazy, and it is crazy. I came out of that a bit crazy. That's a lot of my story. It's just I have a good heart. So now I'm like, I still got to touch that crazy. But when you have a good heart, you can get away with a little crazy. But And that's what it comes down to. And there's a major heart issue in our society. And but I want to stay focused on this side of it. And because I saw so many people, this post wasn't even about the riots. I had not even really seen much about the riots because I don't watch the news. All that was on my mind was George Floyd and what I'd seen happen to him. So when I posted, let's not make it about black and white. Let's make it about wrong and right. And that ain't right. That's what I was referencing. So it shocked me when people start jumping on the thread to talk about the riots. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's wrong too. You could make it about that, but I was referencing George Floyd. I want justice for George. That's what I want. And again, I want to remind you, I'm not denying that it's not a black-white issue. I'm not denying that one bit. I know there's haters out there, and I know there's a lot of them with very, very bad intentions, and a lot of them that are in power. And it's not, when I say let us not, I was asking us to move past that so that we can unite. If we keep it divided, if we keep black against white, then we're going to stay divided. How do we unite? So I'm suggesting let's not make it about black and white. Let's make it about right and wrong, and let's make this right. And the more I say it out loud, the more I'm like, that's a good post. I was being positive, and anybody that knows me knows that's what I'm about. Of course, some of you are listening, you don't know me. Well, I'm telling you right now, go check me out. That is intended to be positive. And you know what? I'm not going to I've heard there's still some attacks going on. I'm not going to go look for them. I'm just not going to go there. I'm just not going to go there. But I am not going to let that stop me from trying to do good. That is my mission. That is my mission, to do good. Cindy's choice is to be brave and to make a difference. So I was telling you, I can identify with, and I hate to use the word identify, but I can relate to a degree to how terrifying it is to have these people that have such control and have such power, and you're helpless and powerless against their mistreatment of you. I suffered that for years and years. I know about suffocation. I know firsthand about having someone's hands around my throat and thinking I'm about to die. I remember vividly how that felt. And it's terrifying. It is a horrible, horrible way. And we watched that man sit there. He had, this is getting me. He had those thoughts in his mind for how long? Knowing this man, I'm about to die. This is it. I'm about to die. And being there completely helpless and vulnerable and powerless. So, I don't know what it's going to take. And maybe that's what, and I'm not going to say maybe. There's purpose in my story. And I often talk about pain guides you and purpose defines you. And pain has guided me to this moment. And my purpose defines me in that I want to use that pain to help when it's needed most. And we will talk more about that when we get back after this break on Cindy's Choice.
As things start to reopen, you're going to need some extra cash.
Here we go.
So we're giving you a shot at $1,000 with the $1,000 stimulus. Spend it however you want.
Talk Radio 102.3 WGOW FM.
You could be driving a Kia. Oh, yes, you could. Kia of Chattanooga.
Kia of Chattanooga needs your help. We've got 150 new Kias and nowhere to put them. Some deals we've never made before. For the first time ever, you can drive payment-free for 4 months, interest-free for 75 months, and worry-free for 100,000 miles. And exclusive of that offer, Kia of Chattanooga will give you $5,000 minimum for any trade in any condition, running or not. Right, $5,000 minimum for any trade toward the purchase of a new Kia. Hurry, Chattanooga. Don't miss your chance to save thousands on a new Kia and drive payment-free for 4 months, interest-free for 75 months, and worry-free for 100,000 miles. $13.33 per mile for 75 months at 0 APR with 0 down, subject to lender approval, expires month end.
Kia of Chattanooga. Kia of Chattanooga.
Kia of Chattanooga, 153 in Shallowford Road. Call 423-855-1022 or KiaofChattanooga.com.
It could be the best years of your life. In retirement, you'll finally get to do what you want to do, but you have to plan for it. Start by joining John Vandergrift of Blue Ridge Wealth Planners Tuesday evenings at 7 for Plan for Everything. Make retirement the best time of your life. Don't wing it, plan for it. Plan for Everything with John Vandergrift every Tuesday evening at 7. Advisory services offered through Blue Ridge Wealth Planners, a registered investment advisor. Securities offered through Madison Avenue Securities, LLC, member FINRA, SIPC.
What you're dealing with right now, it's not your fault. You didn't see it coming, and you're doing the best you can. You're not alone, and there is hope. If you're struggling financially because of COVID-19, get connected with resources to help you afford basic needs like housing and utilities until you on your feet, because you will. Visit RestoreHopeChattanooga.com to learn more.
For 95 years, Saya LTL Freight has hit the road to deliver the goods that keep businesses and communities moving. Now, in this uncertain time, we won't stop going that extra mile, because at the end of the day, we're all in this together for the long haul. Saya LTL Freight, driving stability, safety, support, and strength. Visit Saya.com. That's SAIA.com.
For small business owners, it's not business as usual. Amid the crisis, you're looking for answers, solutions, help. We see you. We hear you. We have something for you. CNBC.com/small business. The latest on relief programs, loan forgiveness, tax help, and state-by-state updates. Protect your business. Get advice. We're here to help. Go to CNBC.com/small business.
Guys, waking up over and over to pee is not okay. But now you can reduce those nighttime bathroom trips with the ingredients in Super Beta Prostate P3 Advanced. We're talking about less urges to pee at night, less bathroom trips during the day, and better bladder emptying. It's like taking 3 prostate supplements in one. You can try a full 30-day bottle of P3 Advanced. Free. Just pay shipping and handling. No strings attached, no obligations, and no commitments to buy. This is a 30-day supply, absolutely free. Call 1-800-475-9067. Super Beta Prostate is the best-selling brand in major retailers like Walmart. But for this no-strings-attached free bottle, you must call now. Call 1-800-475-9067. Don't miss out on this unprecedented free offer. Call 1-800-475-9067. 1-800-475-9067.
Talk Radio 102.3.
Thank you for staying with us here on Cindy's Choice. As I'm getting all controversial, I had to say that because it's like those Cindy and controversial are never in the same sentence. But you know, it is what it is, and I think people are starting to catch on that that's not at all what I intended. I'm trying to do some good, and again, I want to repeat: I am not going to let being attacked keep me from doing good. It's I get it, and I don't want to get too sidetracked, but it's hard being in the middle because and I'm not talking political, but the extreme right and the extreme left of any issue are the more passionate kind of. And so when you kind of pop up there in the middle, you're not agreeing with either side and you're getting attacked. It's all about division. It's all division. And to me, it makes me feel controlled, and I'm not good at feeling controlled. I don't do fear well. Don't do fear well. I don't do being controlled well. If I recognize fear or feel control, I start looking for the root and what needs to be done to eliminate that. And that's a lot what's happening right now is I'm just not going to be afraid to keep encouraging people. And I'm not going to be afraid to, avoid sensitivities, even though I'm very sensitive and I understand how bad it hurts. This has to come out in the open. We've got to talk about these things. There has to be communication. There was some great comments on the post that we have to have good conversations and get this moving. And we're all a little, there's a lot of sensitivities. It's tough, and we want to get it figured out, though. And what I've encouraged is we don't have to get it figured out. We have to just know the next step to take, and we got to step out in faith. And that's what I feel like I'm doing. So again, I was focused mainly on identifying with being victimized and being, at the mercy of someone that has control and has power over you, and you being completely powerless. It's a horrible thing, and it messed me up tremendously. It messed me up emotionally, it messed me up mentally, and it messed me up physically. And ultimately, when you're in perpetual danger like that, you have a heightened stress response. It starts destroying your immune system when you're in constant stress like that. And ultimately, I had some major health issues, which is a lot why I ended up homeless on the streets of Chattanooga. I was living homeless on the streets of Chattanooga just 5 years ago. I was close to going homeless about this time 5 years ago. And let me tell you, a lot of the reasons I could face that, and it was a very real, very raw situation. It was very terrifying at times. It was, I was out there very vulnerable on my own, alone on the streets. But that describes what I was escaping, what I was getting away from if I would face that. I was around people that all they wanted to do was exploit me, control me, and never had my best interest in mind. It was always about them. And I'd been on a journey for a long time. And I don't want to say it was a desperate measure, because it wasn't something I did intentionally. And I really only see it now in hindsight of I was on a pilgrimage. I was seeking God and stepping out in faith and trying to figure out where I was supposed to be and what I was supposed to be doing, and how I could stop repeating those horrible constant cycles of defeat, and how I could not have to depend on people that didn't have my best interest in mind. And because of my health issues, I couldn't just get a job and not be homeless. That's a whole complicated story for another time. But that is a lot. So I just want you to know, I understand to some degree, I understand the hopelessness. I understand the terror. I understand the pain. And it's a really, really tough situation. So there's no judgment here. Now, am I saying it's okay to go looting and causing more damage and so forth? No, I'm not saying that at all. But I am saying I understand it. I understand what drives it. I understand the frustration and the pain. But I'm not saying that that's okay. But I didn't want to focus on that too much, because my post was justice for George was my intention. And everyone kept bringing up the riots like that. If the riots aren't justified, but that doesn't, I didn't want to take the spotlight off George. No, this is the issue. George Floyd's murder is definitely not justified. And I know we had to follow protocol to follow the procedure with that, even though the officer obviously didn't follow appropriate protocol. But I just wanted to kind of emphasize that I'm not saying that the loitering is okay. I'm not saying that at all. What I was trying to communicate in the post was that's not what this post is about. This post is about the injustice to George and making a change, stepping forward in change and getting very, very intentional about it. And it was kind of like when the thread started when lots of people were commenting and I couldn't keep up very well and so forth like that. And I just really didn't, some people were responding so much better than me. And I wanted to give it to them. It's like I wanted them to have a voice. And I was responding. It's just I wasn't going as in depth with it because they were articulating a lot better than me. And I just don't argue. And especially, I don't argue with people that are so extremely passionate and that they're just looking for an argument. it's not really about change. It's not really about trying to come to common ground or get anywhere. I'm not going to squabble like that. But I'm not going to hide that either. And again, I don't have many posts like this. This is new to me. And I've seen it on other threads, but I don't get involved. That's not what I'm about. But that's, I don't argue, because what I do is I take action. That's why Cindy's Choice is a community action organization. I want to emphasize action. And it's why Cindy's Choice to be brave and make a difference. I want to emphasize being brave, because that's what it takes to make a difference. And we're not going to make a difference by just talking about stuff. We are definitely not going to make a difference by arguing endlessly and attacking each other and calling each other names and just refusing to be open-minded at all, to kind of give consideration to the other person's point of view whatsoever. And there were some great points made where, people spoke up that, they definitely can identify with some of the things that some people have walked through. And they realize that people can't identify with what they're walking through. And again, that's why I keep emphasizing, I don't know what a person of color deals with. I have a real good idea. It's like I said, I just gave the story of how I identify to some degree, to a great degree, about the powerless feeling of people, having power over you, that you can't do anything about it. It's a horrible thing. And, and it started for me as a child. I would run away. And, it kept me in a cycle of that for a really long time, because when you keep running away and you don't know what to run to, that's cycles. That creates cycles, constant cycles of defeat. So I get it. I get how, I stayed confused and so misguided most of my life, just wondering why am I a person of integrity? Why am I a person that really cares? I'm very sympathetic. Why do I keep trying so hard to do better and end up exactly where I was or worse? It boggled my brain. And you know what? To get out of that kind of environment, to really escape that kind of oppression, is a huge accomplishment. It is a huge task. And that's a lot of what my story is about. It's been, a 20-year journey once I finally got a clue of really getting things figured out and turned around in my life. And now I'm not going to be denied the opportunity to help others do the same. And I need to be able to speak freely and let people understand my perspective. And I need to hear their perspective and stay open-minded to that as well. But look, hey, we're on to the next break. Stay with me here on Cindy's Choice.
Back to familiar routines with a few changes. Enjoy your time stimulating the economy, but don't forget to make space. Wear a mask if it's crowded, and take care of the medically fragile. Stay safe and lock it on the Talk Monster.
Time passes quickly. Before you know it, children are grown, parents or grandparents are gone, and your family has changed forever. A Cancer family portrait can capture those family connections for many a lifetime to come. I am Cindy of Cindy's Choice, and Cancer photography is Cindy's Choice because Brad Cancer is highly revered as a storyteller that uses photography to create distinctive portrait art. Find out more about owning a Cancer at cancerphotography.com. That's cancerphotography.com.
I'm here with Jake Kinnemer and Brent Burks, the insiders at the McMahon Law Firm. Brent, you've handled a lot of contracts. You've won millions of dollars for your client. If they want, they can call you from the hospital. You'll meet with them there.
Absolutely. We come to any of the local hospitals. We go to people's homes. We answer calls in the middle of the night if that's what it requires. We know this is a hard and difficult time for people. We want to be there for them. We want to answer their questions. And there's no charge for us to come to you. That's what people need to know. They need to get us involved early on so that mistakes aren't made, so the insurance companies are not taking advantage of them. And so some of these out-of-state realtors, I'll call them, or law firms aren't preying on people and messing up their case.
Folks, if you've been in a car wreck, call the McMahon Law Firm. These guys are available 24/7. They're right here in Chattanooga. They'll answer the phone. They'll even come see you in the hospital if they have to. The McMahon Law Firm, 265-1100. The Insiders at the McMahon Law Firm, 265-1100.
All right, kids, it's trash day. Who's helping me take the cans out to the curb?
Okay, no one's ever going to get that excited about trash, but there is someone who takes pride in hauling it away. Locally owned and operated C&M Disposal. That big yellow truck has served your community for 35 years, which is why they're trusted more than other disposal companies. They even have 95-gallon recycling bins available. Get excited about Trash Day. Call 423-894-6964 to learn more about C&M Disposal.
Hey, this is Eric Gardner with Volunteer Rid-A-Pest right here in Chattanooga. We have been solving bug problems in the Chattanooga area since 1970. Mosquitoes are a huge problem in our area right now, and we have the solution. Our monthly Mosquito Guard treatment program will get rid of 100% of your mosquitoes. If you're not 100% happy with our treatments, we'll retreat for free. And if you're still not happy, I'll give all your money back so you take no risk. Don't leave your family in jeopardy. Mosquitoes spread all kinds of diseases, not to mention their itchy bites. So give us a call right now at 698-7205 or Google Volunteer Rid-A-Pest and get rid of those mosquitoes. Call 698-7205 or Google Volunteer Rid-A-Pest.
Volunteer Rid-A-Pest. No bug will survive. Call 698-7205.
For 95 years, Saya LTL Freight has hit the road to deliver the goods that keep businesses and communities moving. Now, in this uncertain time, we won't stop going that extra mile, because at the end of the day, we're all in this together for the long haul. Saya LTL Freight, driving stability, safety, support, and strength. Visit Saya.com. That's SAIA.com.
While you can't believe everything on social media these days, you can believe it's possible to start a new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months from the comfort of your own home, even if you have zero computer experience. Instead of waiting to see what happens when life gets back to normal, take control of your future now. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Live online classes meet just twice a week. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
Talk Radio 102.3.
The Cindy's Choice Show is sponsored by Cindy's Choice Ensemble of Experts.
Thank you for staying with me here on Cindy's Choice. So we got a little bit of time left here, and I'll just jump in and just say, you know, I'm just not a hater. I don't know how to even go there anymore. I truly operate in love. And it's, you know, you're talking to a person who wasn't shown love, who had no clue what love was. It wasn't demonstrated to me as a child. It wasn't just that my mom was abusive and neglectful and exploited me and tried to corrupt me. And I was out on my own at a very, very early age. It wasn't just that, you know, the person that was supposed to be my father acted very inappropriately with me, trying to have an adult relationship with me, as well as other people that she allowed into our circles. I was not protected, but, you know, it's been a very intentional journey to get to a place where I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not bitter. I'm determined and very intentionally did not take a victim mentality, because that is a dirty, dirty trick to steal victory from you. And it's very confusing, but let me tell you, you just can't. And that was kind of the encouragement of, let's look at this differently. I know you're victimized. I'm not denying that, but we got to walk in victory. And I'm talking from my personal experience. I am not schooled on this. I don't watch a lot of news. I don't do a lot of research. This is my personal experience that I'm speaking from. And, you know, I do not get offended by haters. I'm not going to let them steal my peace. No, they win then. They win when that's allowed. But, I see past the exterior, and I see the ignorance. I see the insecurity. I truly feel sympathy for them. And I hate that for them. But I know that me hating them or getting, drawn into all that toxic back and forth and so forth isn't going to help them. And it's definitely going to hurt me. So, my heart is right. My heart is right. And that's the key thing I had to learn. It all starts with getting your heart right. And that all starts with each individual. And I had to make a decision, and I had to own that. And we'll talk another time, because I relate to the other side of this. I would have been that person not understanding, how can these people do this? How, focused more on the damage, because it's horrible. It's horrible what's happening across our country. But I'm not making light of that by any means. It's been a very intentional journey to get to a place of understanding, and that cannot be allowed. It just simply cannot be allowed. But, if I give into hate, then I'm giving into an emotion. Hey, and it's okay to feel the hate, but you gotta turn it around really quick, because you let an emotion sit there too long, and you're going to start responding and acting and letting that emotion get away with you. And so I don't want to be responding in hate. And this is just something I've learned not to do. And I've healed from my horrors and my past to allow me to have this perspective. But, I genuinely respond in love. I never had it. But I intentionally went looking for it. And, I found it, and I want it for others, and I get it to a great degree. If I'd given in to hate, if I'd given in to blaming all these people for all these horrible things, and hating my mother and all the people that victimized me, oh my gosh, I can't imagine where I'd be. I would be so destroyed. My life would be just, it would be horrible. I'd be in a very, very, very horrible place. I don't think I'd be alive, quite honestly. We have to start getting logical about some of these things. And yes, we're meant to feel. Our emotions are real. But we've got to start getting into other people's perspectives and not letting them control us. We're responsible for our responses, and we give them our power. Once I learned that was a huge revelation for me. I was giving people my power. Now, as a child, I didn't have much say. I was a helpless little child. But I got into other circumstances later because I was on the edge of homelessness for a decade before I ended up actually homeless on the streets. And I made a lot of bad decisions trying to not be homeless. And I was in a very vulnerable situation because of my health. When you can't take care of yourself and you don't have a healthy network of support, you're in a really, really bad, vulnerable situation. But I just want to encourage you. I mean, there's enough going on. This is so horrible what's happened. And then we got COVID on top of that and what we're dealing with there. And there's so many people, I talked about it some last week, that are, oh my goodness, they're going through some really difficult times. Suicide rates are up. We talked about domestic abuse is up. There's some people going through some really, really difficult times. And I just want to tell you, I can't identify, there's always worse situations. But I've been in some really horrible situations, homeless on the streets in Houston, Texas, where I experienced some really bad cops. And all of my experiences have been with very, very good police departments and good police officers, but I've ran into the bad ones. And when my ex-husband put me out on the street and I became homeless in Houston, Texas, it was a lot due to some police officers that he had palmed him some cash, and they let him put me out on the street with none of my belongings, and $100 in my pocket. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother time. And I share this just so you get that I get it to some degree. And I want people to understand that this is horrible what is allowed, and we do have to find a way for change. And I want to give a quick shout out, Chattanooga Breakfast Rotary. They've invited me to speak on June 19th, and I'm hoping we get to gather in person at that time. We pushed out the date hoping I wouldn't have to speak on Zoom, but I'm happy to do that if that's what we need to do. I'm sure getting plenty of practice at Zooming, but I appreciate the opportunity. ChattanoogaBreakfastRotary.com if you want to check out all the good things they do in the community. And there's some churches that have asked me to come speak, and as soon as we're allowed to really gather consistently, I'll be honored to go and speak and share my story there as well. But hey, thank you. Thank you for joining me this evening. Thank you for helping me be brave and supporting me and making a difference here at Cindy's Choice. And join me every Friday, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. live right after Sport Talk, Insights with Cindy. Hey, this Wednesday, we got Mark Haidt. The next Wednesday, I've got Ivan Meisner, the founder of BNI. So, hey, tune in the morning. Tim Morgan, Outside with Cindy. He's got some great updates from the Chattanooga sports. Hey, thank you. Thank you. I love you. That's a wrap.